Hi guys, we're gonna try live and see how it goes. If it's messy or choppy, then I'll go back to doing what I was doing. Okay, reading theme today. We know some of these and some of these will be new. Book. Our hands are open, like fives, fingers together. And you start off almost like in a prayer position, and then your pinkies stay together, but it opens up like a book. Book. Read. Remember those classifiers that showed something we're going to use? The two, like our eyes, okay? And then we're going to read across the page. It can go up and down, like we're skimming over it, or you can go left and right. Either one is fine. They're both mean read. Story. Okay, we're gonna take our fives, palms facing each other, and then we're going to go together and close them up and come apart as the flat O's. Story. And then it turns to kind of like, trying to think of another one that we've learned that turns. I'll think of it and I'll let you know. Story. Character. Now, characters are the who's and what the story is about, right? Like not like the animals or the people. And this, a C over, you'd like do a little circle and hit it at your heart, is like a character, like their characteristics or your character, inner character. But I've seen it for both meanings. So if you see that, character. Otherwise, people, animals, stories about, or character. Title is the name of the book, right? So title, we're going to assign name and then quote. Title. Author. Hi Angela. Let me know if the video is choppy so I can stop and do it not live and upload it later. Where were we? Author. It's the person who wrote the story, right? So we're gonna sign write and then person after it. Good, thank you. So write, you take your index finger and pointer finger and your thumb, and you're like writing on your non-dominant hand, like a piece of paper. And then person, your fives, fingers together, palms facing each other, and you go down your body. Author. Illustrator is the person who drew the pictures, right? So we sign draw, person. And draw is with our I. Signing hand, it has an I. Again, non-dominant hand, it has the page. So it's a 5 with our fingers together. And you just draw a squiggly line on that paper. Illustrator. Problem. Every story seems to have a problem, right? So we're gonna assign, this is like problem or difficulty. We got our V's, they're bent, and the signing hand strikes the non-dominant hand. Problem. Solution. Problem, and then we're gonna assign solved. So solved is our palms are up, fingers are together, and your thumb starts at your pinky and then goes out all across all the fingers and then you end up like with an A. Solved. So, solution, problem solve. Solution. Once upon a time. This is a phrase, so you might see it signed different ways. I'm going to show you one way. Once. Remember our non-dominant hand, fingers together, our basic thing. Now it's not a book, it's like a clock. Because we learned hour and minute, right? So we're going to strike it with our one hand and come up. Once upon, in the past, a time. Once upon a time. The end. We're going to take our fives, wiggle those fingers, come towards each other, and then end in an S. Like you're summarizing it all up. The end. That's one way to do it. Okay. Now reading tips for deaf and hard of hearing kids. First, let them know the story before they actually sit down to read it. Sometimes English, remember, is their second language. So it can be challenging and frustrating, and we don't want to lose that joy of reading. The stories and the different worlds that we can go into when we read a book. If it's too frustrating, especially at a young age, it doesn't have the same effect. So let them know the story beforehand, so then they're more comfortable when they read it. That might mean just telling the story to them or showing the story to them. That might mean watching something, even though I don't really like to watch the movie before I read the book. It might mean going to the zoo if you're going to read the Curious George Goes to the Zoo or something. But it helps build their confidence. It helps improve their context when they're reading and they don't know a word. They can figure it out a lot easier with their context clues if they already know a little bit of the background of the story. Second tip. Act out the stories. Even after you read them, you become a character, they become a character, and it'll help with their comprehension, remembering what the story was about, and read it again and again and again. I know we get bored with some of the same stuff, especially the younger kids stuff, but deaf and hard of hearing kids are not hearing the words like hearing kids are. So they need to hear it, see it, whatever. They need exposure to that again and again and again. So do it until you're sick of it. Fourth tip. Apply it to real life. So maybe they have already had an experience in the past when they read a story about it. You can say, hey, you remember you did the same thing, or you remember you went to the dentist, right? And talk about what happened there. Talk about like the weather. If the book has like a rainy day and the person's having a bad day, talk about how you feel when it's sunny and how you feel when it rains. Anything like that helps them put the words into their head and helps them have application to real life, makes them feel like what they were reading has some importance. Enjoy your books. Have fun with them. Don't be stuck on English word. Look at the meaning, act it out, have fun, and watch your kid learn to love reading too. Bye, guys.